Welcome back to Bills Nation Daily, where every heartbeat in Buffalo counts. Let's talk about this matchup that's got both fan bases buzzing, because this game between the Bills and the Buccaneers has storylines everywhere you look. Tampa Bay's side of things might have just gotten a whole lot more interesting. Word out of their camp is that Bucky Irving, who's been sidelined for weeks nursing that nagging shoulder injury, could actually be back on the field this Sunday. That alone changes the entire tone of this game. The Buccaneers' offense has been fighting to find consistency, and while their passing game has shown flashes, it's that run game that's been missing its spark. Irving is that spark. If you've been watching Tampa this season, you know the coaching staff has been playing it safe with him. Nobody wants another Mike Evans situation where a guy pushes through pain, takes one bad hit, and suddenly you're without your top offensive weapon for the rest of the year. They shut Bucky down after the bye week, made sure he didn't push it, and it looks like that patience might finally pay off. He got back on the practice field this week, limited participation, but it's progress. If he's cleared, it opens up a completely new dimension for the Bucs offense. You can't stack the box the same way, and defenses have to respect his ability to both run and catch out of the backfield. That balance keeps the play action alive. It stretches the defense horizontally, and it lets Baker Mayfield, or whoever's under center, work with space instead of chaos collapsing around him. Without Irving, Tampa's been trying to patch things together with Rashad and Tucker, and while both have had their moments, they just don't bring that same threat level. Defenses haven't been scared of the run, and because of that, receivers like Aimcha have been getting doubled and even tripled in coverage. You can't run an efficient passing game like that for long. We saw Tez Johnson pick up a couple of touchdowns last week because of those mismatches, but even those came from the defense selling out to stop Ibuka. If Bucky's back, Tampa suddenly has the ability to spread the field again. You can't throw all your attention on one guy anymore, or you're going to get burned. Now, switching over to Buffalo, things are a little more complicated. You look at the numbers and think, hey, this passing offense is doing just fine. The metrics make it look solid. But if you've been watching the games, you know the rhythm just hasn't been there. It's been a lot of Josh Allen trying to figure things out on the fly, trying to make something out of nothing. And sometimes it works because he's Josh Allen, but other times it's just disjointed. Dalton Kincaid being out this week doesn't help at all. He's been the Bills' best pass catcher this season, and without him, the security blanket is gone. They might get Josh Palmer back, maybe even Gabe Davis, which would be huge, but still, there's a void in the middle of the field where Kincaid usually works his magic. The Bills' passing game has been a roller coaster. Some weeks, like against Kansas City or Baltimore, it feels unstoppable. Josh looks confident, the routes are crisp, and everything's clicking. Then other weeks, like against the Dolphins or the Falcons, it's like the wheels fall off. They struggle to sustain drives, can't find rhythm, and it feels like Allen's doing it all himself. That inconsistency is what's putting pressure on offensive coordinator Joe Brady right now. He's got to find a way to get this unit back into sync, especially against a Tampa defense that loves to blitz and disguise pressure. And let's talk about that defense for a second, because Todd Bowles' group has been heating up as the season goes on. They're aggressive, they're creative, and they're second in the league in pressure rate. They love throwing looks that confuse quarterbacks, sometimes dropping defensive ends into coverage while sending slot corners or safeties flying off the edge. It's chaos when it's working. The Bills have handled the blitz decently at times, but when they don't, it's ugly. We saw that against Miami, when simulated pressures completely threw off Allen's timing. And you can bet Bowles has been watching that tape closely, ready to dial up his own brand of controlled chaos. That's where things get interesting. How will Joe Brady adjust? Will he keep more blockers in to help? That's not something Buffalo usually likes to do. They prefer to send everyone out into routes, trusting Allen to make magic behind a five-man protection. But against Tampa, that could get risky. You got to find the right balance between giving your quarterback time and keeping your playmakers involved. It's a chess match between two sharp minds. Joe Brady trying to unlock an offense that's been stuck in gear, and Todd Bowles looking to turn every snap into a guessing game. Now, one of the biggest under-the-radar matchups here is going to be Tampa's receivers against Buffalo's zone-heavy defense. The Bills play zone on more than 70% of their snaps, and that's exactly the kind of look that Aimcha Ibuka and Tez Johnson thrive against. Ibuka is a master at finding soft spots in coverage, slipping between defenders, and making himself available for easy completions. Tez, on the other hand, turns those short passes into chunk plays with his yards after catchability. The Bills secondary is disciplined, but if they can't tighten those zone windows, these two rookies could have big days. What really spices this up is the interior battle in the trenches. The Bucs' offensive line has been juggling injuries, calling up guys from the practice squad, moving pieces around. You got Graham Barton holding down the middle, but the guard situation is shaky. On the other side, Buffalo's defensive tackles haven't exactly been world beaters either. Daquan Jones is their anchor, but he's just coming back from a calf injury. Rookie Deion Walker has shown flashes of potential, but is still figuring things out, and behind them, it's mostly rotational veterans and practice squad call-ups. So it's shaky versus shaky. Whoever wins that interior battle could control the flow of the game. If Buffalo's tackles can collapse the pocket and get in Baker's face, it changes everything. But if Tampa's line can hold up just long enough to establish the run and give Mayfield space, that's going to tilt things in their favor. And let's not forget the X factor that always shows up in these matchups, Josh Allen's legs. He's one of the few quarterbacks in the league who can turn a broken play into a 20-yard gain just by escaping the pocket. Tampa's defense has to walk that fine line between bringing pressure and maintaining containment. They've been burned by mobile quarterbacks before, and if they lose discipline, Allen will make them pay. Meanwhile, James Cook continues to be that quiet weapon for Buffalo. He's one of the most explosive backs in the league, capable of scoring from anywhere on the field. The Buccaneers just gave up two massive touchdown runs, one for 55 yards and another for 69, so their run defense is going to have to be sharp. Cook isn't just dangerous on the ground. He's a serious threat catching passes out of the backfield. Tampa has struggled to contain pass-catching backs all season, and this could be the game where Buffalo leans heavily on that aspect of their offense. Short passes, swing routes, screen plays, anything to neutralize Tampa's blitz and let Cook work in space. Still, the biggest question hanging over Buffalo is long-term. Who's going to be that true number one receiver for Josh Allen? He's not getting any younger, turns 30 in May, and this team is to find him that go-to guy for the prime of his career. There were rumors about trades for big names that didn't happen, and every week it becomes more obvious that this offense needs that elite wideout. For now, though, they've got to make do with what they have, and that means getting creative, leaning into the scheme, and trusting Allen to do what he does best, turn chaos into opportunity. As for Tampa, they'll look to exploit Buffalo's soft spots, keep the defense guessing, and see if that spark from Bucky Irving's return can reignite their offense. Because if he's back and close to full speed, this game suddenly feels a whole lot more even than it did a week ago. Both teams have something to prove. Buffalo trying to show their offense can still dominate without their top weapons, and Tampa hoping they can hang with one of the AFC's toughest squads when they're healthy and clicking. The energy is there, the stakes are high, and it feels like the kind of game where every mistake, every adjustment, and every big play is going to matter. So when you start breaking this matchup down even deeper, it really feels like the little details are going to decide everything. Tampa's defense has built its reputation on pressure and disguise, but that kind of approach only works if your linebackers and safeties stay disciplined. Against a quarterback like Josh Allen, one false step is all it takes for him to break contain and turn a collapsing pocket into a highlight run. That's the risk you take when you send extra rushers. Todd Bowles knows it. He's one of the smartest defensive minds in football, but managing that fine balance between aggression and control is going to define this game for him. Bring too much heat, and Allen might torch you over the top. Sit back in zone, and he'll patiently pick you apart with short passes to Cook or Knox. That's where the chess match really takes shape. Joe Brady has spent the past few weeks trying to iron out the rhythm of this offense. And while it hasn't always been pretty, there have been flashes of the version of the Bills we all know they can be. The trick now is consistency. You want to see that balance between the quick-hitting passes that get Allen comfortable and those deep shots that stretch the defense. But to make that work, the offensive line has to hold up, especially in the interior. The Bucs love sending delayed blitzes through the middle. linebackers timing their rush just as the pocket starts to collapse. It's a nightmare for quarterbacks who hesitate even half a second too long. Allen has to make quick reads, get the ball out fast, and trust his guys to make plays in space. And speaking of space, that's where James Cook can absolutely tilt this game. He's one of those backs who doesn't need much room, just a crease, and he's gone. The Bucs just gave up 2 long touchdown runs last week, and while you can chalk that up to bad angles and missed tackles, those are the kind of mistakes that Cook punishes every single time. You can almost feel that Joe Brady is going to test Tampa's discipline early with screens, swing passes, maybe even some design motions to get Cook matched up on a linebacker in open field. That's exactly the kind of play that can flip momentum in a heartbeat. Now, from Tampa's side, the focus is simple. Protect Baker Mayfield and feed off the energy that Bucky Irving brings. When the Bucs offense has been at its best, it's when they've been balanced. Irving gives them that balance. Defenses have to respect his ability to hit the edge or slip out into the flat, and that forces safeties to cheat down just a bit. That's when Aimcha Abuka and Tez Johnson go to work. Abuka is such a technician. He knows how to manipulate zone coverage, how to sit right behind a linebacker or drift between 2 safeties, and Tez has that burst after the catch that turns a 10-yard gain into 40. The Bills' secondary, as solid as it is, has shown vulnerability when they get caught in soft zones and miss tackles in space. Tampa will want to exploit that all day long. One of the things that could swing this matchup, though, is the battle between Tampa's offensive line depth and Buffalo's defensive front. The Bucs have been shuffling linemen for weeks, trying to find a combination that sticks. They've got practice squad guys playing major snaps, and it's tough to build chemistry under those circumstances. Buffalo's front isn't exactly stacked with superstars, but they play disciplined football. Guys like Daquan Jones and Ed Oliver are strong enough to push the pocket, and if they can collapse the interior, it can make Baker uncomfortable in a hurry. That's when the mistakes happen. The rushed throws, the bad reads, the turnovers. But on the flip side, if Tampa's line can just hold long enough for those crossing routes to develop, the Bills' linebackers could be in trouble. They've been caught biting on play action before, and with Bucky Irving back in the mix, that play fake becomes a real weapon again. Bowles knows this. The Bucs have been dying for that kind of dimension, where every play feels unpredictable. With Irving back, the defense can't just tee off on Baker, and that means more time, more confidence, and more options. Before we dive back in, make sure to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Your support helps us keep delivering the latest Buffalo Bills updates straight to your screen. And hey, don't hold back. Let us know your thoughts on today's news down in the comments. Whispers are growing louder around Orchard Park, and they all seem to be carrying the same name, Michael Gallup. The veteran wide receiver, once a key figure in Dallas' passing attack, is now emerging as a potential addition to the Buffalo Bills offense. While nothing has been confirmed, insiders suggest that the Bills' front office has been quietly exploring ways to strengthen their receiver depth, and Gallup's name keeps surfacing in those conversations. Gallup's career has seen flashes of brilliance, sharp route running, reliable hands, and the ability to stretch the field when healthy. After battling through injuries and inconsistent usage in recent seasons, a change of scenery could reignite the spark that once made him one of the most exciting young receivers in the league. And if there's a team in need of a capable, experienced wideout who can handle pressure, it's Buffalo. The Bills' offense has been searching for a reliable secondary option to complement their star quarterback's arm talent. With opposing defenses locking in on the top targets, Gallup could offer exactly the kind of versatility and depth that turns drives into touchdowns. Sources close to the situation claim that there have been internal discussions and that the interest is real, though the team remains tight-lipped about any official movement. Around the league, speculation is swirling. Some analysts believe Gallup could fit seamlessly into Buffalo's system, especially in 3-receiver sets where his physicality and mid-range precision would shine. Others wonder if his recent production dip might keep front offices cautious. Still, there's a growing sense that Buffalo sees an opportunity, a low-risk, high-upside move that could bolster their postseason push. For now, it's all whispers and winks. But one thing's for sure, The Bills' locker room could soon have another seasoned playmaker walking through the doors. Whether this rumor becomes reality remains to be seen, but fans in Buffalo are already buzzing at the thought. The name Michael Gallup might not just be making headlines. It could soon be making plays in blue and red. That's a wrap for now. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay on top of all things Buffalo Bills, make sure to subscribe and hit that like button. We'd love to hear what you think in the comments. See you in the next update.